decided to go to the United States and study in film and television in New York University. But it was $240 a credit, 1978. I could not pay it. I went to drive a taxi at night. I was a yellow taxi driver at night. And at the daytime, I went to take a diving course in New York because diving was part of me. I already knew how to dive. So I thought if I take a diving course, I will improve my English.
Oh my God, I have a treat for you guys today. I am here with Amos Nachoum, who will introduce you in a second. He is an adventurer, an explorer. He is probably the top, I think, underwater photographer in the world. And he's talking to us. Like, how lucky do we get? Incredible. Now, this extraordinary story, I got to meet when I saw his movie. He actually has a movie, and we'll talk a little bit about that, Amos, but he has a movie. I actually didn't know much about Amos. I took my kids. I thought it's going to be a beautiful little, inspiring story about animals and humans breaking barriers. We couldn't move. And the beautiful thing about Amos is that then he was so humble to talk to us, to take a picture with my kids, and he got into my heart. And what I want you to understand today, and it's going to be a fascinating story about how somebody took what we call sometimes a hobby, sometimes craziness, we'll talk about it, into an incredible career, but he took it to the next level. He's a speaker, he's a TEDx speaker, he has a book, he has a movie, he never stops. And if that's not inspiring, I don't know what is. Amos, thank you for being with us here today.
Thank you very much. There's a pleasure for me too, and an honor to be on your channel and reaching with you to your people that follow you for a very long time.
Yes. Welcome to the Leap Show. It is going to be so inspiring to hear from you. Amos, how do you even start this kind of a career?
Well, for all the people that don't know and hear my accent, I'm an Israeli. I had a very hard time in the war in Israel in 67 and 73 and the war in between and after. And that's what pushed me eventually to take care of myself, because there was not a treatment at the time for post-trauma in Israel.
Right.
And the ocean and the water gave me this solace, or this peace on mind, and no noise, no sound, no fire, nothing else, and no enemies actually. And then I learned how to live with the animal underwater in peace.
Oh my God, I did not know that. So you basically, tried to solve PTSD, which nobody really had a solution. Nobody really knew what it is, right? Nobody knew how to cope with it. And the ocean gave you that incredible peace. And first of all, that's super inspiring. And then, but you start, swimming, diving, photography. But how does it make you feel like you can actually make a living out of that, right? Because some of us, will go on vacation, but then we come back. How did you want to monetize that? How did you make that in a career?
So I came to the United States in 1978, and the idea was to study film and television. This was my interest in film and television. That's what I did in Israel before. But it was $240 a credit, 1978. I could not pay it. I went to drive a taxi at night. I was a yellow taxi driver at night. And at the daytime, I went to take a diving course in New York because diving was part of me. I already knew how to dive. So I thought if I take a diving course, I will improve my English in a way in which I can manage better in America. The instructor saw me in a pool and took me out of the pool and said, Amos, you can teach the class. You should not be a student here. Ask him why. He said, because I did the exercise in a way that he realized that I have good experience. Make the long story short, the dive store hired me to be one of the instructor or assistant instructor. In July 78, the shop had a trip to Cuba. We were able to go to Cuba at the time. I went, and there was another Israeli that came in, Ruby Eviatar, came into the United States to promote diving. He did not know me, I did not know him. But both of us were on the same trip. We saw what Cuba had to offer compared to what I knew about the Red Sea. But Ruby was really a diving instructor in Neviot at the time, at Nueva.
Yeah.
So together we said, all right, let's make a safari trip. 1978, I ran the first safari for American. We brought them into Israel. We took them by jeep and on base of camels, because at the time there was not much entry or infrastructure to go to the ocean, to go to the Sinai coast.
Right. And this is Egypt for those who don't know. So
Right.
you actually, go to the Egypt part. Wow.
So we had to go to take jeep all the way to the village camp, to the Bedouin camp.
Yeah.
They gave us camel. We went on a couple with a tank and went to the water.
Amazing.
When those Americans told me, Amos, you cannot sell it in America. Maybe to us, they were a friend of mine. So I came to America and I decided to do something about it. And at the time, there was a big travel agency in Israel called Koppel Tours. They had a boat that took people only for sunset to the Coral Island by Eilat.
Right.
I came to them. I did not know anything. But I said, okay, give me your boat. I will train your people. And we create a dive boat out of this vessel. And we go bring people from America and travel all across the Red Sea. For 10 years, I was running about 10 to 15 groups to Israel. Every month, 1 or 2 groups.
Amazing.
And
So that's how you started.
I start my photography. I improve on my photography more and more underwater. And I expanded also to other places around the world.
Mm-hmm.
To other places like Papua New Guinea, like the Maldives, a great white shark in Australia. And I started dubbing on other international travel because I had already followers that came year after year of travel. However, during this time, I saw the damage that I created on a reef. I created it because I was leading people, take them away from home and dive on really pristine reef, either in Papua New Guinea, other in Seychelles, other in Madagascar, other in the Red Sea. Right. The boat at the time, there was not anchor. We throw anchor in the water. People come in, they did not know how to dive, or still people don't dive very well.
They ruined the coral, right?
So I got burned. I got really burned out.
Yeah.
And then I decided I have to do something different. If I want to stay in that, I had to do something different. And then, but I said, I went and asked a friend of mine. You asked one of the questions you asked me earlier in New York, businessman, because I really got burned out and I did not want to do it anymore. I was really upset. And I sat with a friend of mine. We had dinner with 6 businessmen in Israel. One of them was a hedge fund. Another one is a jewelry store. The other one is a real estate. The other one is they had a car shop in New York on 34th Street on 3rd Avenue. And we're selling Ferrari and Lamborghini there. And we're sitting in dinner. I said, guys, you know me very well. Tell me, what do you think I can do next? Could you help me? Really? And everybody throw an idea. Ilana, I'm telling you, I came out of it. I remember that like yesterday. I was sitting in Central Park West under the tree. It was summertime. I had the book of Covey, the 7 characters of influential people. I was reading the book and I was still hearing what these people, or this friend of mine telling me. And I could not fathom to do any job that they offer or they suggested I will do. Mm-hmm. And I said to myself clearly, I've been a commander in the army. I served through some of the most difficult time in the world of fighting. I have extraordinary experience in photography of different field. And I had very good record in America already for 10 years, leading almost 800 people, no, more than this, over maybe 2,000 people into Israel. I made a movie about the Red Sea. So I decided I'm going back to the ocean, but I go differently. I go back into the blue water where there is no reef. We cannot destroy anything, but rather to take a big group of people, very small group of people, like television team, like National Geographic or BBC will do. I emulate their program, but to go and to meet the ocean giant, to meet the big animals, and to see how the big animal behave. At the time, there was not anything like that in the world. There is none. Nobody was doing anything like that. They will see them periodically, maybe by accident, passing by, but not specifically to go to see sperm whale, to see humpback whale, to see blue whale, to dive with a crocodile, with anaconda, with a great white. And
incredible.
but-
And I want to jump in and say, first of all, when I saw your photos, I had to send my husband to dive with you, right? And I can't wait to join together with my kids. But tell me, Amos, again, first of all, that story is so inspiring. But I want to also, for everybody that is listening, I mean, your photos are probably some of the most well-known in the world. I mean, I'm looking at, those that are looking at on YouTube and not on a podcast, right up, behind Amos, there's a photo from the movie Jaws, right? And it's a photo that Amos took. Yes, they adapted it to their own. We don't like that adaptation, but it's taken from Amos' photos. So his photos are at that level that a movie like Jaws need to have it front and center. So Amos, first of all, how do you get so close to the animals? How are you not afraid? And I want you to talk a little bit about some of the doubt and some of those scary moments that would cause any normal human, at least, to stay in the cage and you get out of the cage. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Okay, very important to know, and I get this question all the time. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid as much as you are, like each one of you. Fear, it is in nature in each one of us. I cannot deny my fear. If I denied my fear, I will not be here right now. I'll be dead, clearly. But fear, for me, through the experience of being in war or in difficult situation that we've been in, and the counterterrorism activity, whatever I've done, it was fear. It is something that make me be on alert 360 degree. I become to alert the sound, to every small nuances of change in the behavior of the animal, the movement of the behavior, the wind, the ripple of the water, all those things, and the people movement. Each and every change that happened, or the event that happened around me, immediately put me on alert to understand what's going on. What do I need to be aware of? What do I need to do next? And that's how I manage. I learned, and one of the things that I try to impair other people or share with people, that experience and knowledge is the enemy of all fears. Either will be in relationship, either will be in business, either will be in diving, either will be with the animal on the land, the animal on the water, either will be a snowstorm, either will be even a fire, unfortunately, what happened in Hawaii right now. Right. To be real, really, is to understand that experience and knowledge can save us.
I love what you just said, Amos, because the truth is fear is inevitable. The question, what do you do, right? Some of us will still stay in the cage, let's be real. But I think what, drew me to your, and why I got so touched by your movie. And for those who don't know, it's called The Picture of His Life. Absolutely mandatory. Watch it with the kids. It's incredibly inspiring. The Picture of His Life has this interesting combination between you daring to do the impossible, which you'll share for a second, but also combating the doubt, the fear that what if it doesn't work, it's the last chance. And you speak to it with such integrity and with such honesty and with such, you speak your truth. And I think, first of all, that's incredibly inspiring, especially because sometimes when people are so successful like you, they would kind of rather, hide some of the details. So talk to me a little bit about the picture of his life. How did you get somebody to do a movie, and what was in the movie for those who haven't seen it?
All right. That I really thank you for that, because I'll go to someplace a little bit outside. In my career, I had mentors, and there are people which I have to draw respect to and acknowledge them. The people that did not work with me directly, but I observed them from far away. So there was, people don't know, most of them, about the underwater Hans Haas. If you Google Hans Haas on a Wikipedia, you'll find out more how important he is to the foundation of the modern day diving. The other person I had a chance to work with, fortunately, was Jacques Cousteau. Everybody know about Jacques Cousteau. I had a chance to work with him for a period of time. And then in more modern time, there is the woman that is still today the leading in marine conservation in the world awareness, is Dr. Sylvia Earle of Mission Blue, which is the largest organization, the most profound organization in ocean conservation. Until today, we work together with her.
Yes.
But there was one more person, and there was a trip, one of the many trips I ran to South Africa, and many of us know the South Africa issue about apartheid and know about Mandela. And I'm traveling in South Africa. It was a long time ago, probably sometime in the 90s. And I was in Durban, South Africa. And there was people in South Africa, when Mandela came to be famous, people started to respect him, and especially in part of West Africa where he come from. And he came up with something very amazing. And you said the word impossible. But Mandela said, I am possible.
Beautiful.
It dawned on me, it landed on my heart that I am possible. We, each one of us, possible, if we really set our mind in the heart of heart to do something and believe in yourself to no end. And this is exactly the last statement, or one of the last statements in the movie, that during the movie was about my career, leaving home, and my hard time with my father in the army, but facing that, my biggest challenge today, swimming or diving with polar bear underwater, but not only with one, with a family of polar bear, mother and two cubs, which make it much more phenomenal that I was so lucky. There were only 6 people ever to dive with polar bear. All 5 of them are filmmakers, only 1 still photographer. All of them took picture, only 1 polar bear. I had a chance, together with another person that I had a mentor with, Adam Ravitch, as a filmmaker, to photograph mother and 2 cubs. So by the end of the movie, when I asked me, I came up and I had tears in my eyes, and I remember sitting on the edge there in the Arctic. He said, all the power of being here, either on this planet where I'm sitting here, or together with you, or tomorrow when I'm planning to go to Tahiti, it is believe in yourself. Believe in yourself all the way. We have the power internally, deep inside. And I learned it also from all the people, that the unsung heroes that supported me wherever I went in the world. Other will be the Tibetan that ran out of Tibet and took me to Ladakh, together with a snow leopard up to 15,000 feet above in the Himalaya. Other will be the Inuit that took me to be under their auspices, I was their guest, to take me and to swim with the polar bear. Because without them, I could not do it. There is no way. And they don't have computer, they don't have Apple, they don't have anything else.
It's actually amazing, because a podcast right before you was Yasser. He said, a hand can't clap on its own, right? You need both, right? And it's like, there's always a team. There's always more people that have to go together. You have to lean on that. And it was just beautiful. And this is also an opportunity to say to everybody, if you're listening to this in the podcast, highly recommended to also listen to it in YouTube, because we're going to have a lot of amazing photos from Amos here on the YouTube that we're going to embed throughout the call. But I wanted to share with me a little bit, Amos, because again, there's some scary moments that I'm sure you're like, is this worth it? Can you share a moment like that just kind of got you spooked a little bit?
the the truth of the matter, if I was scared, that means that I was not preparing well. Really,
Okay.
you eliminate the issue of scareness by preparing, by studying either the environment, either the animal or the people I work with. So if I did not do that, yes, you're scared because you're surprised. And surprise, usually, in every case, whatever you look at life, is because of people are not prepared. So I wasn't, there's not a question of being scared. Yes, I was afraid what the animal will do, how they will react. That means that I had to be slow in getting into each situation. It was a chance of development because every time that I go to a new environment, I don't go immediately and come back with the best picture. If we take the picture of the leopard seal feeding on a penguin, it took me at least 3 or 4 trips to Antarctica till eventually it took place. 3 or 4 trips to Antarctica. This is altogether, you're talking over almost $1 million investment.
Oh my God.
It is not like diving with a great white and be able to be out of the cage. It took over 1982 till 1993, over 10 years of experience.
Oh my God.
But it is all in the learning process. This is why it took me so long to get to the point to speak with you.
Oh my God, that is so incredible. Hey, I want everybody to listen to this, because we always look at somebody and we're thinking this is such an overnight success. And there's always, like you said, there's sometimes 10 years of this overnight success, right? Like you've been preparing for it for 10 years. Because again, those photos with the sharks are something that for any normal human, they're looking at it and I'm like, this is insane. But almost you somehow brought this to perfection. Like you just know what you're doing in a whole different level that we've never seen before. At least I have never seen before. What is one piece of information that you wish somebody told you? Like now that you're looking back at your life, what is something that you wish somebody told you? Looking back.
It is the same thing what we just talked about, that somebody tell me before that I could trust myself. I should trust myself. It took me very long. If anybody see the movie, and I'm today much easier to talk about it, I had very hard relationship with my father. I left home when I was very young. He was not very supportive mentoring for whatever reason he had. He was post-trauma himself because of the independence war of Israel. So wherever he came, as an immigrant, they ran away from the Nazis. So it is all generational and how it happened. So nobody will tell me that. But today, when the person who made the movie, Yonatan Nir, which is another wonderful young Israeli that was a student of mine. So I had a chance to mentor him. And this is how the movie came about. But I told him, trust yourself. And the same thing with Adam Ravitch. Adam, I met in America. When I wanted my trip to the Red Sea, to Israel or to other places, Adam was a young student that just got a scholarship to study, to work in the ocean. And he came to me and I had a chance to mentor him. And now, when we made the movie, Adam was the one that I choose to lead me into the movie to be or swim together with a polar bear. So I had a chance to tell him the same. Believe in yourself, trust your intuition. It is something you don't go, not in Harvard, not in Yale, not in Oxford. They don't teach you that. But the intuition, what we have deep inside, is something that has not been encouraged in any element except at home. What you do with your kids or what people do at home.
Absolutely incredible. And I think the other thing that, and I want to just kind of, bring it back to you and how you do things, right? I mean, there's a lot of photographers in the world, right? But you somehow took it to a whole different level, right? Like, and some of it is that love. It's true love. Like it's your why, right? Like Simon Sinek is talking about the why. It's your why. Like you want to understand the behavior of animals. You want to shine the light on animals. You don't want them to look like Jaws. Like you want them to look, like the beautiful mom and her cubs, right? Like that's what you're here to show, which is first of all incredibly inspiring. But I think you also took it personally to a next level in terms of books and TEDx and movies, and like people don't get there, like nobody reaches that, Amos. So first of all, what is your drive? Like what drives you to continue pushing like when everybody else stops?
Very good. I'm come back to Israel, come back to the religious issue and the effect on society, how my father was taking the religion or the society took religion to support their interest, but not necessarily following what religious has to say. So my mind from very young was asking why, always asking why. And when I got to the ocean, I did not understand why people were afraid of the animal or the wilderness. As I was young, I had a dog, I raised horses. But I asked why there is fear, why this concern about the shark going to attack you. No, they don't. They will if we do all the wrong things. Or if we don't pay attention to Mother Nature behavior, to the pattern of Mother Nature. But we cross the street only in green light, not in red light. Why do we go diving or surfing early morning in where is seals and shark preying on the seals? They will prey also on the surfer because it's a mistaken identity, clearly. Amazing. But if you go swimming or surfing at 10, 11, 12 o'clock, the chances that you'll be attacked by a shark is minimal. 95% of all shark attacks happen early morning, late afternoon, only because the angle of the sun over the horizon is so low, is so little light get underwater. So the shark can see the silhouette on the surface. The seals cannot see the shark below. So there will the shark come in and take the seals. It will happen in Australia, happen in South Africa, happen in California, happen everywhere. Classic. Wow. When I went to dive with the shark out of the cage, we did not put bait in the water. Because to attract the shark to the camera in all the movies, this is distortion. They are doing these movies in order to attract money, but throw fear in the public mind. But there is no reason for fear. I can swim with shark. You can. Yes, it's good to have a good leader. He's always leading by example and good leader. But also the circumstances. So you go to a place, if you attract the shark, but not put bait in water. Will not aggravate the animal. But the bait put especially for people inside the cage to take picture of the mouth open. Incredible. But if you don't put a bait, there's no mouth open. Actually, you have one of these pictures. The shark will. Yeah,
he was smiling. Yes,
smiling.
My God!
This is to correct the misconception. This is the idea. That's what drives me to correct the misconception about the wilderness. Crocodile, Nile crocodile, that probably kill more people than anyone else, more than sharks, but only on the surface. They cannot feed underwater because when they open the jaws, they swallow water like us. They will drown. Amazing. So we're just ignorant, Amos. That's what you were saying. We just don't know. That's also why I did not say they're ignorant, but we don't know. So I took myself, it is, as you say sometimes, naturally born leader, natural born. And I did not know that, but as I continue work in the ocean together with the camera, together with the people, and I see their hesitation and able to lead them safely in and out, that's give me the inspiration that the message that I got the feedback of the success in the beginning and the trust that the American people gave me. As clearly you say in America, God bless America. I will say that clearly today, being a taxi driver in New York to come today in the front of some of you, all your people, the trust the people gave me here inspired me to continue to next level and next level and next level.
Amazing, amazing. Amos, this is such an inspiring topic. And seriously, like for everybody's listening, if you are on podcast, I think this one is definitely a YouTube type thing that you need to check out. We're gonna have the links. We're also gonna have the links for Amos with his books and his for his book and for his movie, and maybe also for the tours, right, Amos? I mean, so if you're looking, and I don't know if Amos you mean for me to say this or not, but if you're looking for incredible, like this is not a typical let me walk around, like this is like hardcore, go have fun with the animals and live, understand their behavior, understand their life, understand how they live, and really get up close with some of these most incredible animals in the world. I can't think of anybody else that I would rather trust, respect, and go with. So Amos, last famous words for anybody listening or seeing this.
Few small words. You use the word hardcore, but they are not hardcore. Swimming with a humpback whale is just to swim. Every person can do that. Blue whale, humpback whale, sperm whale, balloon whale. It is all swimming.
Wow, everybody can do it. That's amazing.
Everybody can do it. You don't have to be a diver, no certification.
Wow, okay.
Just for fun. The difference is that I make a small group of 4 to 6 people to give each one a very good time, a long time to be in the water with the animal, and to see the behavior, to see how they act or how they move, very similar to us.
Wow.
And how they become curious, listening to the sound where a sperm will click and you can feel it against your body. When the orca come in and do a pinging at us, or the humpback whale singing, a male sing for female. It is like somebody come to take you to dinner tomorrow. It is like phenomenal. Yes, there's the hardcore trip when you go to the high Arctic. And
that's the one I wanted.
Snowmobile looking for polar bear. Yeah. So
right.
This, but there are different kind of the go from age 6 and 8, you can go swimming with a whale.
Really? Oh my God.
Age 60 or 70, when you have the mind and the physical ability to be in an environment like Antarctica or the high Arctic. But right now, in this time of my life, as everybody see, my beautiful long hair used to be black so long time ago, but that's changed. But happily and gracefully, is that I'm going to make change in all my direction of operation, and rather to just continue running trip for the purpose of the also education, business, and conservation, to focus on about 4 or 5 trips a year that I personally lead for people that really interested to have a top to bottom experience of the environment, behavior of the animal, photography, and connecting to the universe that called planet. Yes. Right. So running only 4 or 5 trips that I can give the best I have to give to them. Right. Going after animals that have very little exposure, that probably difficult to see, one of which, like, for example, the blue whale, the largest animal ever live on the planet. There is only one place we can see them well, beautifully, but they are far, far away, all the way in East Timor, between Indonesia and Australia, or to go to be with the clouded leopard. Only 400 of them left in the world. Who bring the picture from there? To bring yes, you can go to the zoo to see them, but to look at the animal in the wilderness and why they've been hunted badly, to be in the wilderness of Cambodia, in a jungle, and to bring the images from there and the story of experience, and then contribute to conservation. So those trips want to contribute to conservation also, yeah. but conservation, education, and personal satisfaction for people that been successful in their life. Yes, right. I'm successful, you're successful, the people coming to us, they've been successful, they want to do or willing to have other experience than have done before and lead them safely in and out.
Amazing, amazing. So seriously, like if you want to basically travel with the #1 in the world, that's where you need to be. Amos, that was such an inspiring story. I didn't know most of it, even though I thought I did my homework. So that was incredible for me. I was almost crying here. Amos, thank you so, so much on behalf of everybody's listening to this. Folks, I'll have all the information, all the links reach out to Amos. It's going to be an incredible, no matter what you do, incredible guy to get to know.